Do you love wood and rustic? Hey Bestie, this is Lisa. Welcome or welcome back. Today I've got both for you. I found this adorable grow magnet. I've got a piece left over from a Dollar General decor piece. It had a little chicken on it. And then I've got these eucalyptus plants faux plants that I got from Amazon. I'm going to take out the magnet, and we're not going to actually use it as a magnet this time. We're just going to attach it to the front of that adorable chicken wire sign. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to turn it over, place it right in the center where I want it, and then I'm going to start adding a ton of hot glue, and then I'll wait for it to dry. I'm also going to press down to make sure that it's making really good contact. And you'll see here I'm putting it at almost every possible intersection that there is back there. And now I'm pressing down just to make sure that it is really firmly attached to the back of that magnet. Now I'm going to pull apart little pieces from the eucalyptus pick, and I'm just going to put like 3 on each side, poking out from the back, and that you'll be able to see, like I come around the front, I attach it to the back so that it's not covering up the magnet, but it looks like it's coming from behind it, if that makes sense. And I did do 3 on each side, and then I took a little piece of white paper and covered up the back. I think this one is so cute. What I'm going to do to make sure that the little picks lay where I want them is I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue behind one of the little leaves on each of the corner pieces and just push those down, and that way they kind of go up into the corners. And I just think that gives it a little better coverage. Otherwise it looks like they're just like whiskers coming out straight from the sides, and now they look like more distributed whiskers, I guess. Anyway, I think it looks super cute. So I like the way this has turned out. This is so easy. These magnet hacks are fast and easy. You can do these in no time at all. You'll have to let me know what you think. Coastal DIY, I've got this cute little wooden picture with a turtle on it, and I love the beaded handle. I'm going to take this napkin. I believe I got the napkin at, I want to say it was Hobby Lobby quite a long time ago, but you can find really good coastal napkins just about anywhere that they sell them. I'm going to use a piece of tape to separate. This is a 3-ply, so there's going to be 2 pieces behind that pattern piece, and using a piece of masking tape is a really quick way to do it. Now I'm just going to lay the napkin over and see how much I actually need, and it works out that I actually only need like a quarter of that napkin. I'm going to take some Mod Podge and paint it over just the turtle. Now once I've got that on there, I'm going to lay that napkin right over the top, spread it with my fingers a little bit, and use my brayer to flatten it out. Now, while it's still wet, you have a couple options here. You can just rip around the edges very carefully by pushing down on the part that, is going to be staying, but sometimes that pulls up the napkin. I ended up taking a blade. I just wanted to show you that option, but I ended up taking a blade and very carefully going around. Better to do this once it's dry so that you don't pull up anything that's, meaning to stay. I'm going to take my off-white paint that I have. You can use any paint you want. And I'm just going to paint around the frame. I thought that would look so pretty. I've got this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. It is a 3-ply, but I'm just going to keep 2-ply. I'll remove one of the plies. And then I'm just going to twist up the end, and I'm going to glue the end so that it will lay down flatter. Now that I have the end of the rope taken care of, I'm going to line the inside edge of this picture with my hot glue, and I'm going to lay down the twisted double strand part of the rope. And I'm going to put that all the way around the whole inside of that square, and then I'll cut it off and glue it down at the end. And that is it. Didn't that turn out so pretty? I really love this one. And if you wanted to, you could paint the beads white. I just decided not to, and I left the background natural too. What do you think? Tree kitchen towel hack. Actually, I think this is a bathroom towel, really. I've got this shell-shaped wooden frame from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut out the part that says Sunshine State of Mind. And I'm going to fussy cut that all the way around the words. Now, I don't want to use that square hole in it for a frame, so I'm going to take out the wooden piece. And it's so thin, I'm going to use my scissors and cut around and make it slightly smaller. And then what I want to do is be able to set it inside there and from the back and hot glue it in so it brings the front up to flush with the rest of the wood. I hope that makes sense. And I did add the paper back just to cover that up. So you see how it's now flush with the front so the whole thing can lay on it. I'm going to take some pieces from that towel that we just cut the words off of and put this beautiful kind of like seaweed on the back. So I'm just going to use my Mod Podge and attach that with the Mod Podge. So I'll take one piece and then the other just to create a beautiful background. And then I'll take the other piece and do the same thing. Then I'm going to take the part that has the words on it, and that's going to get hot glued right to the center of this. And I'm just being really careful to get the glue on there without pulling up the threads. So I'm just centering that the best that I can. And then I'm going to put some of the twine around that piece that has the words on it, just to make it stand out a little bit more. Next, we're going to cut off all the excess. So I'll be using scissors and a blade to do that because some of the little pieces you can't get your scissors into. So you just go nice and slow and make sure your blade is very sharp. And that way we can see the shell shape when we're all done. Now I'm going to add some twine around the outside of that to help define that seashell shape and so it's more visible. This one was very easy. Super cute. This could be really fun to do with your grandkids or kiddos too, I think, because it's very easy. And just going to take a little bit of those pics that remind me of seaweed and just put some on the bottom just to give it a little more interest. And I'm going to take another seashell from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to hot glue that right in the middle of the greenery just to finish it off. So it's a seashell with a little seashell on it. Anyway, I think it's super cute. I love the colors. So pretty. These towels are gorgeous. I hope you can find them. Let me know what you think. DIY, for the coastal DIY, I'm going to take this picture with a starfish on it. And it's just like the other one, but it's just a different picture. I'm going to take some caulk. Now, I got this at the Dollar Tree, so you can get it there. And I squeezed it out all over the starfish as much as I could get out there. It's a pretty tight squeeze, let me tell you. Anyway, I got it all out eventually. Now I'm just going to spread it around with my finger and try to cover the whole starfish. And then I'll wipe away any excess that got on, the wood that's around it. I wanted to create a texture, and I will tap my finger on it a little bit too. Now I'm going to take my white paint and I'm just going to go around the edges of the frame, and I've got that 3-strand cord, that's nautical rope. I'm going to go ahead and glue the edges, but I'm only going to use a single strand on this one, and I'm going to glue around the inside of the starfish picture and just lay down that single strand of this 3-strand cord rope. Easy for me to say. I think that this particular nautical rope just adds so much to the coastal vibe. I mean, it is a nautical rope after all, right? All right, so now that I've got that all on there, I think that looks amazing. But I want to make the starfish look more like a starfish. So I'm going to take my pumpkin Waverly chalk paint and just use a stippling stencil type brush and just dab it on there. My caulk is dry now, so I can do that. And once I get all of that on there, I'm going to take a little bit of that white again and just very lightly tap over it to dull down the orange a little bit. And I actually think this turned out looking a lot like a real starfish. I did also take a little pointy kind of a tool, and I went in and I peeled out all of the caulking that was inside those little holes on the starfish. I just forgot to turn the camera on for that, but that was very easy to do. I just kind of pulled that out of there. And there goes the white that I'm just kind of lightly tapping on just to kind of make it a little bit more dimensional in color. I didn't want it to be that solid orange. Look at that. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I just think this looks so realistic. It's almost like I glued an actual starfish on there. That's how much I love it. You'll have to let me know what you think. It was so easy to make. And again, it just looks so realistic.
Every change has a reason. Baby, let it come to you. Every soul.
It's so easy. I've got this little corrugated piece of metal. It's a square, and this little wooden home sign from the Dollar Tree, and it's got a little red carnation. So I thought, let's make this patriotic. I'm going to take a little bit of my linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and I'm going to dry brush it on the metal very lightly. So put some on my brush, dab most of it off, and then just drag it across. And there it is. You could do more or less. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the gray H, M, and E of the sign. And I'm going to do the inside and the edges as well. Very, very light dry brush. I actually ended up doing a little bit more than light, but I like the way it looks. I'm going to pull that flower off. You could use a heat tool if it's sticking really well, but it's just glued in there. Kind of straighten up that little hole so I can put it back. And I'm going to take my ocean colored Waverly chalk paint. And I'm going to do a couple coats and I'm going to do just the O on this little sign. I thought that turns it into kind of a red, white, and blue piece, even though there's gray on it, but there's also gray on the metal piece. I think that just goes really nicely together. Just using an angled art brush to get into all those places so I don't make a mess, and I'm going really slow so that I don't hit any other parts of this. I'm going to dry it off with my heat tool, and then I'm going to cover the entire home's little block with some Mod Podge just to seal it in. Once that's done, I'm going to take the little flower, put some hot glue on the back, and you see it's got a stem there. It'll fit right in that hole, and literally that puts that sign back together, and now it's got that patriotic look that I love, and it's still pretty any time of year, I think. We're just going to hot glue it on the corrugated parts that face upward, because there's no point in putting it on the other ones because it won't touch the back of the sign. I kind of looked at it to see where it would touch, and I added that, and that's it. Glued it right on there. You could use E6000 with this just to make sure it'll stay. I'm not too worried about it, but it's definitely an option, and we'll definitely hold it there. Love how it turned out. You'll have to let me know what you think. Coastal DIY, I've got another one of these pictures. This one has a seahorse on it, which I think is absolutely adorable. And what I'm going to do on this is use a collection of different colors, moss, pool, lagoon, and this one is agave. I have in a different container because I love it so much. And I'm going to start just painting different parts of the seahorse in the different colors. And not exactly an ombre, but, you know, just kind of a fading of one color into another. So I'm just using a smaller art brush to do it. And then I decided to put the moss at the top above the agave. I wasn't really sure when I started the order I was going to go in. And it's okay if it does get a little bit on the wood because I'm going to use some white wax by Waverly to kind of cover that up. Now I'm going to take the next color and go down and basically just keep doing this until I get all the different colors on the seahorse. You can see what I'm doing there. I'm not worried about what the line looks like right where I start the new color, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So now I'm just going to end with the lightest color of all. I'm going to take some water on a clean brush, and I'm going to go blurring the lines between each of the paint colors, and that's what I'm going to do starting right here. And that way it's just more of a gradual change, so it's not like a block kind of color thing. So I just thought that looked really pretty to just slightly blend them. Now I'm going to take the moss chalk paint. I'm going to paint the whole frame around the outside. I thought that would be a nice color to use, and I only used a little bit of it on the seahorse, but I think it's super pretty and it goes along with it. Now I'm going to take that white wax I mentioned, and I'm just going to very carefully with a teeny tiny art brush go around those edges and in those holes to try to cover up anywhere I might have made a little mistake. And that really does do the trick. And then I'll take a bigger brush and do the rest of the background just to kind of blend it all together. Now I'm going to take some very thin jute, and I'm just going to attach it along that inner portion next to the frame. I just think that really ties this all together and helps contribute to that coastal look, and I really love that finished look there. I thought this one, because it's underwater, like it really needed some kind of seaweed look, so I thought these greenery worked for that. So I just glued some on the one side and a smaller piece on the left side, just to give it that idea like the seahorse is actually floating in the water. And I love this one. It's definitely one of my favorites today. You have to let me know what you think. I do love seahorses. I think they're the most amazing little creatures, and they're so cool to watch. Let me know what you think. Another super fast and easy hack with the stickers. I've got a $1 box planter. I got at Goodwill. I've got these butterfly stickers. I didn't end up using the gold one. It just didn't go with this once I got started. I am just going to put them on. You could paint this thing any color you want. I just thought that it was good in white. So I'm just going to take off these butterflies. I'm going to put them around the sides on the edges. I love that look of them kind of coming around the edges. So I'm going to do that on all 4 sides, and then I'll just randomly add some more butterflies. I mean, seriously, that is it. The star of the show is just going to be whatever flowers you put inside or plant you put inside. But I thought this looks so pretty and natural. It could go inside or outside. I am going to cover the whole thing with some of the clear polyurethane. That way it is safe for outdoor use, and it seals in those little butterfly stickers, which they're not that small actually, but they are gorgeous. I've used them on many projects before. If you watch my channel, you've probably seen them, and I haven't even used them up still, so I guess there's going to be more down the road. Anyway, I love the way this looks, just adding that last sticker on there. Did you know I'm on Pinterest? I've got pins almost every day on Pinterest. Just so much fun. I love that place. I get a lot of motivation and inspiration from there, and that might be helpful to you too. So I will have that link down in my description box, but feel free to come visit me and follow me on Pinterest. Here's the clear glaze, and there it is, all finished. Could this be any easier? And look how beautiful it looks when you put flowers in there. They could be real, they could be plants, whatever you like. I just put some faux flowers in there to show you. Let me know what you think. From Dollar Tree in the Coastal Pics. This one's an octopus, which I thought was also very cute. We're going to go very rustic on this one. I'm going to take my Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to take some more of that thin jute. And what I'm going to do is just start painting the frame around, but I'm going to use it as a stain on the frame. So I'm going to be painting some on and then taking a paper towel and wiping it back. That way you can still see the wood grain through it and it's not quite as dark. And I like that look. It just gives it a little bit more dimension. Here you can see that right there, how you can start seeing the wood grain when you wipe that back. I'll do that for the whole frame. And I also did the beads on top. I thought that looked really cool on this one. Now I'm just going to very lightly paint the antique wax with a wet brush, and there you go. I did the octopus in the same thing. I'm going to take the jute and I'm just going to line it on the inside of the frame just to kind of tie all of my pieces together to give them that kind of finished coastal look with either jute or nautical rope. And this one was super, super easy, very fast. I am going to paint in that inside the white Waverly wax because I did overpaint a little bit on the octopus, and I thought, okay, let's do that again, and that will just kind of make the octopus stand out a teeny bit more. It's just slightly lighter than the wood, but barely. You can just see the wood right through it. I love using that Waverly white wax. I've noticed that a lot of people don't use it, and I'm just not sure if they don't know what to do with it. But it's basically like the antique wax, but you just do it with white, where you can paint it on, wipe it off, whatever you want. But I do like the look. Unfortunately, it wasn't fully dry when I took the picture, so you can still see some portions of it. But when it dries, you won't even notice it. Let me know what you think of this one. Wood round at Walmart, and then I've got these cute little popsicle sunglasses from the Dollar Tree. I think they're adorable. I've got a piece of scrapbook paper. This came out of a pad from Walmart, and I am going to use my antique wax by Waverly. I'm going to paint around the edges only. That's all you're going to see. Then I'm going to take the connecting piece that goes on a clothespin with some hot glue and attach it on the back and create a hanger, and I'll put a little piece of tape over the bottom of it just to secure it even more. It's a great way to make a hanger. I'm going to trace a circle onto the back side of my scrapbook paper and cut that out. I'm going to take my purple Elmer's glue. I love this stuff. And I'm just going to put it on. You can see where it's going so you won't miss any spots at all. And it does dry clear, so no worries about that. And I ordered that on Amazon in case anyone's looking for them. This is like a jumbo stick. And I'm going to put that piece that I cut out right on top of it and just center it. I will secure it with my brayer. And then I'm going to take a sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree and in a downward motion go all the way around and just pull off a nice clean edge. Look at that, just came out perfect. I'm going to add some Mod Podge over the top to seal that in. Now I'm going to take the sunglasses, and it's super easy to do this. I'm just going to pull off the handles or the pieces that go over your ears. And then I'm going to add some hot glue to the back and just position the popsicles right on the wood round. I'm going to take a flower that I think is really beautiful that goes with it from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut off some of the stiff greenery in the back that kind of takes it apart. And I'm going to add back the petals one by one so that I can position the flower exactly how I want it. And then I've got this greenery from Amazon. I'm just going to pull off some pieces, clip off the ends, and hot glue them in there. Just so many on each side till I think it looks beautiful and full, and add a couple towards the top over the lenses on the glasses so you don't notice that as much. This was so easy, so quick and fun to do, and very budget friendly. I really love how it turned out. I think this would be a pretty easy one to do for anybody at any level, but it's a cute summer decor. What do you think? Walmart 7-inch wood round. I've got a little lantern from the Dollar Tree. It's got a little light inside of it. I thought these were so cute. And then I've got this toile contact paper that I got from the Dollar Tree. If you've watched my channel, you've seen me use this several times recently. I love that print. We're going to use some ink, Waverly chalk paint, and go just around the edges. That's all you're going to see. Now I'm going to go ahead and paint the very top and bottom of the lantern with that same ink paint, just black. You can use any black paint you want. There you go. And then I'm going to paint the body of the lantern in white, any white paint that you want. There you go. I'm going to show you how you just turn on the light. Isn't that adorable? I love these little lanterns. So cute. We're going to take the toile paper. I cut down a smaller piece. We're just going to lay it right on top, remove the backing, and just little by little put it on there and pull out the backing and just smooth it out. I'm going to use my brayer to do that as well as my hands. Such a small piece, it's very easy. Now you could paint that background white if you want. I noticed you can kind of see the wood through it, but it's really not that noticeable. So I'm okay with it this time. Then I'm going to take the sanding sponge and go around the edges again. This just makes a nice clean finish. Get rid of that excess paper, and it's just so much easier than using a knife to be super precise. This just really works well. See how nicely that comes apart? And I'll do that all the way around. And because I don't want to work with even excess paper, I will cut some of it off as I go. There it is, all finished. It looks beautiful. Now, I was deciding which way I want to put the lantern on, and I decided to turn this into kind of a sconce. So I cut off that little hanger. I put a twine hanger on the back with some hot glue and tape just to secure it. And then I'm just going to hot glue the lantern on the parts that are going to touch that wood round and create a beautiful little sconce. That way I can still access the switch to turn the light on and off. You could hang this on the wall, and there you've got a beautiful little sconce with a Walmart wood round and Dollar Tree lantern. How cute and easy is this? The hardest part was painting, which, as we know, isn't hard at all. Just have to wait for it to dry. I really love this one. You'll have to let me know what you think. Gorgeous Dollar Tree fabric. It looks like coral. And then I've got this All You Need Is Love sign, also from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use my heavy duty staple remover that I got on Amazon to remove those big staples that are such a pain. And this makes it so easy to get rid of them. I'm also going to use it to remove the greenery on there that's on the bottom because there was another staple there. And I'm also going to cut the little ribbon they have there so I can release that greenery because I need to work with the sign before I can put it back. I'm going to sand down where I pulled the staples out just so it's nice and smooth. So this is a technique. I haven't done it for a long time. So I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to do it again. You cover the area that you want to adhere something to with Mod Podge and you let it dry. So I only want to do that outer circle on this sign. So now the Mod Podge is all dry. So then I'm going to take my Dollar Tree fabric and I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece that will fit the exterior of this sign. And it's okay that it's bigger, obviously, because we'll trim it once we have it adhered. I'm going to go ahead and iron that first just so that it'll lay nice and flat. Then I'm going to lay the fabric over the top, and I'm going to get a piece of parchment paper, and I'm only going to iron over the part that had the Mod Podge that is dry now. And this will make it stick perfectly. It's such a great technique. You can do this with paper, napkins, whatever you want. You don't have to use wet Mod Podge if you don't want to deal with all that stickiness. So now I'm just going to cut off the excess. I'll start off using my rotary cutter, and then I'll end up going in with a little bit of a more flexible, finer blade to get the fine pieces out of there. But it's super easy to do. You just go around the edges and then go into those center portions. So you'll see here, I'm cutting off, the inside edge there. And then I'll show you when I turn it over how I'm going to get the parts that weren't open. So here we go. So you see that area where it's not open? I'm just going to continue that circle very carefully around to the next piece I had already cut. And there you go. It's super easy. Just take your time, and this won't be hard to do at all. Now I'm going to take the Mod Podge and cover this all the way around because I do like to seal it in. Isn't that so pretty? The color of that fabric is gorgeous. Now I'm going to put the hanger back, and I'm just going to, take the twine, put it on with glue and a little bit of tape like I always do. Then I'm going to hot glue the greenery back on, but I'm going to add some little pink flowers and some other greenery just to make it a little bit prettier. I mean, it was so basic before, but I wanted to add something, and I love how it turned out. I love the vibrant color, and I love what it says, and I just love it. I hope you like it too. Let me know what you think. Got this beautiful tag that's got coral on it, and it's got like corkboard. I love that. I'm going to use the sand dollar and the seahorse fabric, which is so cute. I'm going to cut a little slit and rip a piece or two from that. I probably took more than I needed because when it came down to it, I just didn't use that much. So what I end up doing is cutting it in half, and just keep cutting it until the size that I wanted. And I'm going to take 4 pieces and just kind of crisscross them. Then I'm going to take the Decor mesh, and I'm going to cut several pieces, and I'm just going to cinch it and create like little bows. Now I'm going to show you this one is a little different. So I'm going to fold the end over and then kind of squish it together and then turn it around and fold the other end over. I'm trying to get rid of those edges that fray. And it works better this way than the way I did it before, but you know what? It's still a little bit got the edges, but I'm okay with that. I just wanted that cute little bow look. So what I did was I tied that one on, and then I added 3 more. And so I just keep adding them and crisscrossing them, and it ends up looking like such a cute bow. And it's very poofy, and I like that. So now we're going to put some glue, turn it over, and add it to the upper right-hand side. Then I'm going to crisscross my little seahorse fabric pieces, and I'm just going to put some twine around it, tie that off, and I'm going to glue that to the very center of the Decor mesh. Now I am going to add a few more pieces, but it was so thick I had to do them a couple pieces at a time. So I'm just tying those onto the back, and then I'm just going to fluff it up so that you can see all the little seahorses, and I will hot glue that right to the center of the bow. I love that little pop of color, and I'm going to add this really pretty orange seashell from Dollar Tree right to the center. And then I've got some greenery pieces that I'm just going to glue and kind of stick around the outside of the bow. Just going to do 4 of them. It's optional, of course. You could add less, you could add more. You don't have to put it in at all. I just love that greenery look. I think it's so pretty. And this would be such a cute place to hang your reminders or whatever, just, a little mini bulletin board, especially if you like coastal decor, which I do in my bedroom. Anyway, this turned out adorable. It was very quick and easy to make. I mean, it took no time at all, and look how beautiful it is. Let me know what you think. Napkins, a book page, and then this Dollar Tree sign. Now, first thing I'm going to do is separate the plies on the napkin, and I usually put a piece of masking tape on the edge just to make sure I can grab it. Make sure it's 2 or 3 plies, that way you know how many layers to remove. Then I'm just going to iron the fabric, flatten it out, and cut out the book page and get rid of those edges. I'm going to paint the top of the sign white because I want to cover up the butterfly. Even though it's cute, I really don't need it for this particular project. So that's all done. I'm going to leave the sides. because they were cute like shiplap, and I'm going to put Mod Podge over the whole thing just to seal it in. Before it dries, I'm going to set the book page right on there, and then I'll cut off the bottom edge so I get the same border around the whole thing. And so while it's wet, I can just easily set down that page and just kind of push it on lightly with my fingers. I didn't want to use the brayer, and I didn't have saran wrap handy to grab to put over the top. Now I'm going to fussy cut out this starfish and then also a seashell that's on the napkin. And once I get them cut off, I'm going to go ahead and, trim around them and make sure it's just those items that you see. You definitely need a sharp pair of scissors to do this. Otherwise, you could snag the napkin and rip it, because now that you've removed the plies, it is super, super thin. But this is a beautiful napkin, and I love it. I'm going to take some Antique Wax by Waverly, and I'm going to go around and dry brush the edges and the sides and a little bit over the top. I just want to give it, a little bit of an older feel, and just putting a little bit on my brush, wiping most of it off and dragging it across. Now I am going to add more Mod Podge to the top because I'm going to be placing those pieces that I cut off. I'm going to take the straight edge sides and put them on the edge so it almost looks like it's going over the edge. And then I'll do the other one up in the corner. And then I'll also put another layer of Mod Podge over the top to seal it in and just make sure that everything's on there. I'm loving this look of the book page with the translucent kind of napkin over it. What a cool look. And it's so perfect for a coastal piece, or any piece actually, as long as you're going for something that's a little bit on the distressed side. I think it looks really, really good. I'm going to take some rope, and I get this particular rope at Walmart because they have the best price, and I'm going to put it all the way around the sides from the top to the bottom just to give it, again, more of that coastal feel. I love the way this turned out. Hey, if you're not already subscribed, I hope you'll do so because I'd love to see you in future videos. Anyway, I love this one. I'm so happy with how it turned out. You will have to let me know what you think. Look how pretty that is, seeing through the napkins to the book pages. Have you ever tried something like this? Let me know. I've got this beautiful anchor napkin. It is so cute. Anyway, what I'm going to do is remove the plies like I always do, and then I'm going to take this little crate from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use it and the starfish that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint the front of this crate and kind of the little edges and middle parts with the white paint that I have. It's actually, you can use any white paint that you want. And then I'm going to cover it with some Mod Podge, and I'm using matte. You can use whichever kind you like. I'm going to dry that off because I'm going to show you a really cool technique for this. So once it's dry, I'm going to lay the one ply of the napkin and a piece of parchment paper over it. I'm going to use an iron, and I'm just going to iron over that, and it's going to adhere perfectly to the wood. I love that. And then I'll take a little piece of sandpaper and just go in a downward motion, go around the edges and get rid of any of the excess napkin. And it really does clean it up. Hey, if you're not already on Pinterest, or even if you are, come join me. I started posting every day, and I can't wait to see you over there. I've got a link down in my description box for you. All right, so now I'm just going to finish getting those edges off, and then I'm going to take a sharp blade and go in and get the remaining pieces that are in between the little slats on the mini crate piece. Just take your time, just go in and make sure the blade's very sharp, and just very quickly it'll just come off. You can also use sandpaper to get any rough edges if you want, but make sure it's dry when you do that. Now once I'm done, I'm going to add another layer of Mod Podge over the top because I just want to seal it in, and then any little ripped edges will be nice and smooth when you do that. Just a good way to finish it off and seal it. Now I'm going to use some hot glue, and I'm just going to put the starfish on the left side there, kind of cover up that little portion of an anchor that I'm not going to be able to see really anyway. And I just thought, you know what, that's a perfect spot for it because I didn't want to cover up the good anchor. And then I'm going to take some greenery. I found this greenery at the Dollar Tree, and it actually has a little bit of a seaweed look. So I'm just going to cut off some pieces, put them in there just around the star, just around the starfish, And that's it for this one. It is so cute. I think it would be adorable. Now, if you had like 4 of these, you could actually turn these into coasters, but I left the twine hanger on there because I thought it would also be cute to hang up. But you know what? That's a personal choice. Do whatever you think fits with your decor or just your space. Just finish adding that greenery on there, and there's the finished piece. I think it's so cute. I really love how it turned out. Let me know what you think, and have you decoupaged onto something with slats before? Walmart wood DIY craft. I've got an oval piece of wood. And I'm just going to take off all the stickers and labels. And then I've got this calendar. It wasn't from the Dollar Tree. It's one of those you get in the mail. And I saw this really beautiful picture of these birds with pumpkins, and I thought that would be such a pretty one to use. So I'm going to use that staple remover that I have from Amazon to get rid of that heavy-duty staple that's on there. Really works so well. I'm going to sand around the edges and everywhere and then wipe away the sanding dust. Now I'm going to trace over this calendar picture to show the part that I want, and that's what I'll cut out. That's what will fit right on this oval. I'm going to use my Mod Podge, and I'm just going to lay it down. Now, just so you know, I usually prefer to use the glue sticks, and I don't know why I didn't this time. So that's just, I would have done that if I thought about it, but I think the Mod Podge was sitting right in front of me, so that's how that goes. And I usually do one part of it first and then do it in sections, and then I use my brayer to make sure it's very, very adhered. Now I'm going to take a sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree. Also, a nail file works really well for this. Just going to go around the edges in a downward motion so I get a nice clean edge, and it looks like it's just part of the wood when you do this. Now I'm just going to add a little hanger with some of my jute. Just use some hot glue and masking tape and secure it to the back. Super easy and very secure. This is also a very light piece. Now I'm going to take my Antique Wax by Waverly, and I'm actually going to stain the edges. I'm going to put it on, and then I will wipe back the excess. I'm also going to make sure that a little bit gets on the whole thing just to continue with that little distressed look that I'm going for. And then I decided to just paint the back. You don't have to. I just did because I feel like depending on where I put this, you might see it if I don't hang it or if I put it on a tray or something like that. And it's such a small piece, I thought, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. And then it looks nice and finished front and back. And then there was still a little gap there, so I went in with an art brush and I just kind of filled that in so it didn't look, kind of scraggly, with the wood. It was really hard to get that wood smooth way deep inside that crevice. So I think this covered it up nicely, and now I'll wipe it back and it looks great. This was so easy. I love how this is turning out. I'm going to cover the entire thing with some Mod Podge just to seal it in, since that is a piece of paper from a calendar. Next, I've got some fall leaves. I'm just going to add them on. I'll cut them into little pieces. That way I can put them exactly where I want and put them kind of around the pumpkins. Like, there are leaves in the picture, so I like to bring it to life, creating a little more of a 3D type of an effect. And that's what I'm doing here. Again, this is optional. If you don't want to do that, don't do it. Anything I do is simply for inspiration. It's not the only way. It's just one way of doing it. And I do things different ways all the time. I'm going to add a cute little acorn right to the center there. I love little things like that. And then I'm going to add a couple little berries from a pit berry pick that I had. And that's it for this one. I think it's so pretty. It would look so nice in fall, around your house, anywhere you want to put it. I just love the colors. Let me know what you think. I've got this double frame that I got from Walmart, and these were all so inexpensive. Some of them were less than Dollar Tree prices, and some were just slightly over, but very, very good quality. I've also got these very thick furniture tacks that I got on Amazon. I love them. So this is how the frame works. You can either stand it up horizontally or vertically. There's a hole for both on the back with that little peg. I'm going to take this faux leather that I had in my stash. Now, you can get this at any fabric store. Sometimes I think they even have it at Dollar Tree. But anyway, it's not that hard to find. I know they have it at the larger craft stores. And I'm going to put the Beacon Fabric Tack Glue on the back. I'm going to start at the top and just lay the piece over. That way I can do this in sections, and then I'll fold it back and do some more until I get the entire thing adhered. And this gives me the opportunity to put it down in little pieces, if you will, or sections, and really try to flatten it out. because there was a fold in this leather. And so it is still there, but I think that by using my brayer, that really helped get rid of it as much as possible. Now I'm going to cut around the edges, and then I'm going to take a blade and I'm going to take out the center portions of those the picture holes. Super easy. This cuts very well with a very sharp pair of scissors and a nice blade. You can just go around all of the sides, and it was very easy to cut. And of course, I always try to set it on my cutting mat so I don't ruin anything. I have plenty of holes in my table for other reasons, and I'm going to need to recover it soon because I've gotten a little bit lazy. Anyone else do that? You just don't want to pull something out, or you know what I mean? I think we're all like that at times, where we just think, it'll be okay, or I won't put a paper down when I paint, and then next thing you know, there's paint everywhere, or there's a hole in your table. I can't be the only one. Let me know if you have mishaps like that as well. It's just one of those things where you're in the mode and you just don't want to stop and do something different. Anyway, I'm going to take some twine and I'm going to line the picture holes just with the twine using some hot glue. I think that looks very pretty, and that makes this look very rustic, which is the look I was going for with the leather. So there, that's done. Now I'm going to take the furniture tacks and I'm going to put one in each corner and then one in between each of the corners. So altogether, there's going to be 8 of them. I didn't want to line the whole thing because I was having a hard time getting them in. And would you believe that the ends of them were so long that it came out the other side and went into my table? After what I just said, I just made a bunch of holes in my table. So now I'm having to cut off those little tips so that they aren't too sharp. When I do that, just so you know, either you should wear safety glasses or I close my eyes just because you don't know where that little end's going to fly. Now, I did cover them all with some hot glue just to protect anything that this sits up against the wall, whatever it might be if I hang it. I didn't want it to be rough on the edges. And that's it. You can just add some pictures. I added some cute little pictures from a calendar. You could put pictures of your family or friends. I thought this was so pretty, and you could use this actually any time of year, not just for the fall. What do you think? I've got this gorgeous contact paper from the Dollar Tree and this cute little lantern that lights up, also from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint the lantern with my plaster chalk paint by Waverly just to give it a nice clean background, because we're not going to put the contact paper over the entire thing. So now I'm going to cut out a piece of the contact paper that will fit in the sections where I want it to go. So I'm going to try to cut it as close as possible and then adhere it. I'm going to fold it in there so I can get a nice line and know exactly where to make the cut. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out that piece. And that gets me very close to the size that I need. And then I'm going to cut a second one so that I have more to use for this project. And remove the backing since it's such a small piece, and I'm going to go ahead and just put that on there, and I'm going to be wrapping it around. Now, it wouldn't make it quite all the way around, which is why I had to do 2 pieces, but I'm going to lay it as flat as possible, and then I'm going to take a sanding sponge and I'm just going to cut off the edge by sanding around and getting a nice clean edge and just kind of going in a downward motion. Now, I didn't want to overlap. That's why I'm removing that excess right there. And then I'll take the other piece and start at a clean edge again. And then that way each of the edges will look nice and clean. So there we go, laying down the second piece there and smoothing it out. And then using the sandpaper to go ahead around the edges and get rid of the excess. So now you see it's on 3 sides, and I did sand on every one of those corners so it looks like they're all separate pieces. Now I'm going to use my Agave chalk paint by Waverly, and I'm going to paint the very top, and then I end up painting the front as well because I love this color so much. So I'm still glad I put the white down because that way you don't see the wood through the contact paper, and it makes the agave pop even more when you do that. So I'm going to also do the front. And I left a little white on the top as an accent. So cute, I love it. Now I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I'm just going to go over the whole thing. I'm going to take some greenery, and these are just some leftover picks that I have probably from Dollar Tree. That's what I usually have. And I'm just going to put them on the inside just to give it a little more interest, which I think will be very pretty. And then, of course, it's got that light on the inside, which is going to be so cute. I love little light up things. Just makes them so versatile. So it's got a little tab in there. You pull it out, and then you twist the light on. And there you can see it. It's pretty light on my table, so you'll see it better in one of the pictures. Hopefully I got rid of some of the extra light. But there it is, all finished. I think it's adorable. I love these small little pieces for tier trays or for shelves. Just nice. I have a very small space I live, so I don't want to have too many things all over the place. What do you think of this one? Contact paper I'm using here I actually got from Amazon, so I wanted to include this because it's so gorgeous. Anyway, I think they've had ones like this at Dollar Tree. I just didn't have any. So I've got this cute little hanger piece that I got at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the hanger and I'm just going to sand down where the holes were. And I'm going to take this contact paper and I'm just going to put it right over the top. So cute. I love this paper. It's so pretty. So then I'm going to cut another piece off just to get it closer to the actual size. I am going to paint this with my plaster chalk paint so that you don't see that black underneath. Sometimes you can see through these, contact paper or even like the peel and stick wallpaper, you can see through them. So now I'm going to peel back one end of this, start at the very top, lay it down, and then slowly kind of press it down and remove the bottom as I go so I can get rid of any bubbles or wrinkles. Now, once I get all of that off, I'm going to take my brayer and I'm just going to roll it over the top, and that also really helps to flatten it out. Make sure that it makes excellent contact with the piece underneath. And you can find that in my Amazon store if you are interested in using something like that. I love mine. I'm going to take some sandpaper and in a downward motion, go around the ends, cut off the excess, and then I'll have a nice clean edge and I'll go all the way around. You can see that right there. Now I'm going to replace the little hanger, just going to feel for where the holes were, mark spots, and then I will go ahead and drill the nails in with my screwdriver and then replace it. Super easy. I've got these beautiful kind of lavender purple flowers. I'm just going to cut pieces of them off and I'm just going to add them to this piece. I just wanted to dress it up a little bit, just putting some up in the top and then another little piece down towards the bottom. I just thought that would look so pretty just to add the florals. Again, you don't have to do this. It's optional. Add just greenery if you want, or don't add anything, whatever you like. You could also put something really cute right in the middle if you had like a little wood sign, or you could do a cricket type of a, saying or picture on there. Honestly, it's up to you. This is just inspiration, and I just love to give you that so that you can start thinking, what would you do? I'm going to add some more greenery because it was a lot of purple and I thought it needed a little more balance there. So I'm just going to take these extra pics that I have around and add them on, and I'm loving how this turned out. You'll have to let me know what you think. It was super easy and it just looks so much nicer than it did originally, and it was just a Dollar Tree piece of wood and some contact paper. Let me know what you think. Lobby 75% off item. I've got this piece for $1.49. It's a nice solid wood piece shaped like a square, but it has mountains at the top, which doesn't matter because we're going to change that. So I'm going to take off the hanger and the beads, and I'm just going to paint the entire top black to cover what's on there. I'm just going to put the hanger back after the paint dries, and I'm going to change the beads out for some yellow and white ones because we want that color scheme for this project. And I had those already in my stash left over from some Dollar Tree beads that I had gotten on like a little medallion thing. So I'm just going to knot the hanger, add the beads, and then make another knot at the top. This is so cute and easy to do. And if you don't have those color beads, you can just paint some natural color beads or do it whatever color that you want. Now I'm going to take this sunflower that I got, I believe at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut off the like pointy ends. But first I'm going to take some Mod Podge before I put that on because I want to seal that paint, and I almost forgot to do it. So I just want you to see sometimes I forget things and then I remember them. Anyway, I'm going to put a generous amount of hot glue on the back of the sunflower, and I'm going to put it towards the bottom of that like sideways square. And then I'm going to add the leaves right to the side of it, which I think is really pretty. I like to add the leaves after. I don't like to keep them on there. It's just nice to be able to place things exactly where I want, maybe not just the way they came. Now I've got this cute little bee, which is on the back of a Dollar Tree calendar, and then there's another one. And so I'm going to cut them out. I'm just going to fussy cut those until they are as close to the actual bee as possible. And then I'm going to glue those on. Well, actually, I'll use Mod Podge to do it, but I'm going to attach those on there so it looks like there's a couple bees flying around the sunflower. And then once I get those on, I will cover that with Mod Podge as well, just to seal it even more. I love adding little things like this where it kind of gives it that almost three-dimensional feeling, like there's something else going on there, that it's movement. That's what I guess I would say. Feels like actual movement on the piece. And I just love that. Now you could also draw your little bees or get little bee stickers. I didn't have any, but I do have these cute little teeny sunflowers that I got at Dollar Tree. I'm just going to unravel them, and I'm going to take 3 of them off, and I'm just going to add them on as like a little extra piece of decor on the left side, just to balance it a little, because I had the bees kind of on the right side. I felt like it just needed something else. And because, you do things in 3s or odd numbers, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hey, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you will consider sticking around, subscribing, so I can see you again in the next video. Thank you in advance if you decide to do that. And that's it. This one is finished. I love it. I think it's so cute. It's so festive and bright, but it's good for fall because sunflowers go all the way through fall. Let me know what you think. % off piece. I've got this piece that was only $2.49. Look at how cute this is. Oh my gosh. And then I've got some scrapbook paper that I had in my stash. And what I'm going to do is just take my Maze Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to paint over that whole inside and cover up the cute little design that was in there. It looks like it was for a boy's room. And now I'm just going to take my scrapbook paper, put it over the edge, and kind of rub it along the ends of the piece so that I can know where to cut. It kind of creates like an indent. I was going to try to do it with a pencil, but that really didn't work. So you just kind of rub and hold it in place, and now you can cut it out with your scissors, and then you'll only have like minimal trimming to make sure that it fits right. It's really hard to get that perfect the first time. So you put it in and you take it out and you kind of fold it in so you can see where else you need to cut. You see how I'm pushing it in against the edges? I mean, you could also do that and then use a blade and cut it out, but sometimes that isn't as clean of a cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take it out and then recut it afterwards. I think I have a little bit left after I do this, but I do use a blade at that point. So now I'm just going to do portion of it with the Mod Podge, lay it down, and then lift up the other side. That way I can smooth it as I go. So now I'm going to just smooth it, come around to the other side, and put some more Mod Podge down until the whole thing is adhered. And then I'm going to take my brayer and really make sure that it is just down there really well. And there's that little part I ended up doing with a blade. Now I am going to put a little bit of rope in there and just kind of cover those edges because my blade needed to be a little sharper, I guess, or maybe it wasn't quite dry and it kind of pulled on it a little. So that was an easy fix, just to add a little bit of the rope or twine in there. Now you see I've got a picture on my phone of a bee. I'm going to take a pencil, and while looking at it, I'm going to draw it. I'm not an artist, but when I do this, I can usually get it pretty close. So now I'm going to go over it with a black permanent marker, all the parts that I need to color black. It was just easier with a fine tip like that to be able to do it. So as I go, I'm just trying to be really careful. I've sped this up, so obviously I am not doing it that fast. I'm not that good. Anyway, you take as long as you need, and then I'm just going to add these little lines to make it look like the bee is in motion. I'm going to take my maize colored chalk paint and I'm going to color in the bee, and then I'm going to use my plaster and color in the wings. I just thought that would make it really cute. And I'm using a very fine point art brush. It's easier if you do that, and then I'm going to add a few accents here and there with the white just to give the bee a little more of a three-dimensional feel to it. This is actually much easier than you might think to do while you're looking at a picture. I think it's so adorable. And that was all there was to this one. I think it came out so cute. I love it. I like bees when they're in pictures. I don't like them when they're near me. I mean, they're great for the environment, but I'm not a big fan of getting stung. What do you think? Have you ever been stung by a bee? Off Hobby Lobby special piece. I got this piece for $4.49, I think it was. Oh my gosh, I think it was like $20 to begin with, and it's beautiful just as it is. Honestly, if you bought this, you could just leave it just like this It says, we gather here. There'd be no reason not to just keep it. But of course, I painted that inner portion of this cutting board black. Now I'm going to put Mod Podge all across it to seal it. I am going to draw like a beehive shape, but like where the top is almost open like a vase. So I'm going to take my rope, twine, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, sometimes when it's in between size, I'm not sure which one it is. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and start hot gluing all the way around the shape that I drew. And I did draw that circle toward the bottom of the inside of it, which is like the opening of the beehive. But this is going to be like a beehive vase. So we're going to go ahead and glue and just keep going around and around until we fill the whole thing except the circle with this twine or rope. And I'm just going to keep going until I have to cut off pieces that are certain size that will fit. And you can see here, now I'm going to go ahead and close off that circle because I'm not going to be able to keep going around. I've already hit the bottom of it. And so now I'll just keep going back and forth until I fill in the rest of it. Super easy. You just keep gluing and, adding your larger twine. And then I just cut off some of the edges because I didn't want to keep going around in a circle in this case. So now I'm going to fill in the rest of it. Hey, Bestie, thank you so much for being here. It's so nice to have you, and it's so great to read your comments. I don't always get to them immediately, but I promise I will get to every single one of them. I love responding to you. I love hearing what you say, and I love when you interact with each other and pray for each other and just are there as a community for each other. Honestly, you are awesome, and I really appreciate and love each and every one of you. Now that I've got this filled in, I'm going to add some sunflowers. I've cut them down to the size I want, and I'm just going to put them in at different heights. So I've got some yellow ones, I've got white ones, and I'm just going to continue to add these in until it looks like this beehive is a vase full of sunflowers, and I just think it's so beautiful. I'm going to add a little twine or rope hanger to the top, doing a lark's head knot to attach it. And then I'll just add a little knot at the top. Very easy way to make a hanger and give it that kind of rustic farmhouse look. And now I'm just going to draw 2 little bees. Now this was super easy. I took my maize chalk paint and I made 2 little almond shapes, or actually I did 3 little almond shapes. Then I took a black marker and I did little heads on them coming into the almond shape. And I know you can hardly see that because there's black in the background, but it does kind of work out in the end. Now I'm going to draw the little lines across the bee bodies on all 3 of them. Then I'm going to take a little bit of white paint on a very fine art brush and just dab it to make wings on each side of the little bees. Now tell me, they are not the cutest little bees. Oh my gosh. Now once it dried, I put Mod Podge over it to seal it. And that's it. I think this is so cute. If you had little bee stickers, you could do that instead. I just thought, I'm going to paint these. I bet this would be really easy to do. Anyway, please let me know what you think. I really do love this one. Are you ready for more inspiration? I've got another video here I think you will really like. Click on it. I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.